Hello my friends, welcome back to the homestead. It's been a little bit again, and this is a part of my kitchen that you usually don't see a whole lot of. You know, we live in a really old house here on our homestead, and so we don't have much in the way of built-in cabinets. And so husband recently, I don't know, a couple months ago fixed this one up for me. And then this is my Hoosier, my baker's cabinet, and then there's a little counter over here that has the microwave on it. Yes, I don't like microwaves either. That's husband's microwave. At any rate, thanks for coming and joining me again today. I'm glad everybody's here. Where do I even begin? It's been a long one. I still have some medical stuff going on. I'm doing the best I can while I can. So those of you that are following along on my story, just keep me in your prayers. I'm not done yet. And today's election day. I did vote. You're not going to see it on election day, but I hope you voted. And it's also about 5 days before the beginning of deer season here in Missouri, rifle season. So I have to clean the freezer out and leave it to me to procrastinate and wait until the very end. Anybody else work best under pressure? Am I the only one? I don't think I'm the only one. But anyhow, we're going to clean out the freezer, and I'm going to bring you along with me. And we're going to start off with breakfast sausage. So let's get started. What you see here is this is homegrown pork sausage. This is not store-bought. It's from local butchers. It's been in our freezer for about a year, and pork sausage needs to be consumed pretty quickly. It can get freezer burnt really fast. And I need to make room in my freezer. It's full. I even still have the lard from the same pig. So we are going to can this. Now I'm going to do things a little bit differently. When you're canning sausage, you can patty it out. You can, some people leave the grease in the jars. There's several different methods. Do a little research. Do what's best for you. What I'm going to do with this today is I'm going to can it similar to what I would do with ground beef. Okay? So we're going to cook it, not all the way through, but mostly, half, 2/3 of the way through, depending on how quick it gets away from me. And I'm going to strain the fat off of it. I'm not going to throw the fat away. Keep the good fats. I'm not throwing it away. But I am going to strain it. The reason that I'm doing that is because fat goes bad quickly if it's not left cool. Now, if you have a root cellar or you have an extra refrigerator or something where you could store them even after they're sealed to keep that fat from going bad or going rancid, then by all means, cook it. Put it in the jars, top it with your fat, do what you want to do. I don't really have a nice cool place to keep it, so I'm going to separate it. And I do the same with my bacon, which you will see too. And I do my bacon a little bit differently than most people when I'm not, if I'm not freezing it. Anyway, so we're going to put the meat in the jars and we're going to cover the sausage meat with water. And we're going to can it that way. And then I'm going to take the strained fat from the sausage, probably put it in a quart jar or whatever, however many I get, and just pop it in the fridge and we'll use it that way. So I'm separating them, but there is more than one way to do things. So, these have been sitting out since last night. They're good and cold, but they're not frozen solid unless there's some in the bottom that might be. But by the time I get to them, they should thaw out. So I'm going to wash jars. I'm going to get my Dutch oven out and we're going to get going. If you don't have a Dutch oven, you want one. Just trust me. You want one. I actually have two. They're both in really rough shape. This one actually has some rust. I scrubbed it down and it needs a good seasoning, so we're just it volunteered. It was meant for this job and it's going to take care of this for us, and that will help also season the inside of my pan. I made the mistake of doing a tomato-based sauce. I can't remember if it was chili or if it was spaghetti, but that will eat the seasoning off your pan. And I knew that. I know better, but I still messed up. So don't do what I did, but here I am. I'm going to remedy that, okay? So I don't know how many I could fit in here. Oh, and another thing. This one is actually, I had forgotten that my cousin had brought us a couple packs of sausage from their home, and one that they raised themselves and had a different butcher than ours process. And this was the price, if you could see it. Can you see that? There. I was kind of trying to hide, personal information there. But at any rate, for 1 pound of sausage. And these are in 1 pound bags, but this measured pound is quite a bit, no, that one's not. Some of these are way bigger. So, But we're just going to say a pound per. And I don't know how many pounds I got out of the freezer, so I'm going to use this to count. Might have to have someone count with me. There's one. It's so hard to believe it's already almost deer season. I hope everybody gets one and everybody's able to process one. We were blessed this summer. We've always had to hand cut our deer. We didn't even have a meat grinder. And then last year I bought a meat grinder for my KitchenAid. My husband didn't end up getting a deer, so we didn't need it. So this year is the year. I feel it. It's going to happen, right? Everybody's going to get a deer. It's going to be a great harvest year. But I happened to visit a estate sale, yard sale type deal. And this young lady had a bunch of stuff in a garage that she was selling. That one had just a little bit of ice on the outside of it. Making a mess. Anyway, I was able to pick up a roaster pan. Actually, 2 roaster pans. My red one and a white one that I haven't even got into yet. And a meat slicer and a meat grinder, you guys. And I've got them for a really great price. So I'm really excited. I hope we get to use them. This one's a little bit froze on the bottom. That's all right. It'll put down. I got it up a little high. I might do one more. And then once it cooks down, we'll see what we got. I'm going to process this in pint jars because for our family, you know, a pint of sausage is going to be plenty. And that'll also make it last a little bit longer. It's less likely to get wasted than if we open a quart and don't use it all. So, pint jars. I have 15 washed so far. If we need any more, I have them. I just didn't dig them all out to wash them. And I guess we're just going to see how much we get out of this and move forward from there. So let's check it out. So it's got just a little bit of pink left in it. It's about half, I guess. As soon as this pink, I might get you a little closer so you can see a little better. You see that okay? There, how's that? Think it's getting there. But once this pink is gone, but before it gets too brown, I'm going to go ahead and start jarring this up. So here's where we're at for now. And it's probably been about 15-20 minutes. So we're getting there. So it's pretty brown. There's not very much pink left, if any at all. And I'm going to take my ladle, and you can kind of see some of the fats around the top. I'm going to go ahead and start straining it into this strainer, okay? And I did a lot of chopping. Some of it in the bottom might be a little more brown than up top. One thing I will note, I put 8 packs of the sausage in here. The next round I'm only going to do like 5 because 8 made it a little bit difficult to stir, and I want to be able to stir it thoroughly. So that took a little bit longer and cost me time-wise on this batch. But you can hear it straining. Like I said, you don't want brown. I hate to use the word gray because, I mean, let's face it, that's kind of gnarly. But, you know, you should be able to see. We're going to give this a minute. I might have Sis time-lapse it. I might not. I might just show you when it's done. But I'm giving you the general idea. You know, strain the grease off into this pot. And we're going to take this meat and we're going to put it into these jars. And we'll just go from there. So I have a few jars that I've already started. And it just looks like it's dry. It's not going to be a dry pack though, don't forget. Make sure your jars are clean. Of course, if you want to see me, I figure you want to see this. Anyway, make sure your jars are clean, thoroughly washed, sterilized. Always check your tops. I've been through this whole thing. I'm assuming if you're interested in canning, you already know that by now. Keep your area as clean as possible, okay? And then I went ahead, I've had this for a little bit and I keep forgetting to use it, but with meat, especially being as greasy as what it is, I remembered to use it today so it doesn't get into the plastic and make the plastic feel gross like the plastic funnels can be. Anyway, usually about 3 scoops. Where'd my spoon go? Seems to be enough. Push it down in there. I rake my sides and everything and kind of push it in. Tuck it in nice and neat. And there you go. Okay? I'm going to go through. The Nesco canners will hold 5 pints at a time. So I'm going to see how many this will fill. And if it fills 10, we're going to go ahead and get those started. And depending on how much I have left, I'm going to have to get out the big All-American. Alright? Let's get these filled. I ended up with 9 pints. There's no need to season this unless you want to, but it has sausage seasoning in it. Some people don't like to can things that are already seasoned, especially with sage and different herbs, because they can get stronger or considered bitter. But for me, it's more important to preserve this, and honestly, this is a very mild sausage. It's not a strong sausage, so I think it'll be okay. I have 8 cups of... Let me fix you. You can see my face for this part, right? There we go. I have 8 cups of hot water in this canner, in my Nesco, and I'm going to put a little zhuzh of vinegar in there because we have hard water and vinegar just clouds up my jars, and it's not a big deal. You can wash the jars, but it just saves me a step. Sometimes I forget, no big deal, okay? We're going to get our lids and rings on. I'm probably going to have to go get another box. No, I can do it. I've got enough here. I do, however, need to get a clean rag. So let me grab that. I'm adding water to my jars. It's just a hot water, but it's not crazy steamy hot. And I'm only going to fill 5 because that's what this canner holds. Since I'm 1 short from my other canner, I am going to go ahead and wait. I put 5 more packs of sausage in this pot. I would just prefer to have full canners, especially on a big project like this. I don't want to waste space, so I'm going to wait until I have my other jar to get my canner full. There's my 5. As the water filters down, we'll top it off and add a little more. And yes, stick something down in your jars to get any air bubbles out. Whether it be a stick, they have the little things you can buy to do it for you. Some people just use shish kebab sticks, whatever you got. Just debubble them. Since I'm working with meat, I'm using a vinegar rag to wipe off my rims in case of any oil. We want the contact between, I don't know what that is. I think that's from an old ring. It is. Or an old lid. I want the contact between my lids and my rims to be as good as possible. This also offers another opportunity to do one final check for chips. And believe it or not, occasionally chips still happen and you miss them. I had it happen to me a few weeks ago, about a month ago. And I can't remember what it was I canned, but I had one that didn't seal. And I checked it over and I couldn't figure it out. And it had the slightest chip on the outside edge and I missed it. Alright, I'm going to debubble, put lids on. You actually need to do this step before you do your rings. I'm just kind of giving it a go, getting down in there, getting the bubbles out. Working it through. I don't always show this. This is just a common sense step. And sometimes, like if you've got a really big chunk, you can kind of just swirl your jar around and it's no big deal. But for these, we're going to go ahead and you want it packed in pretty good. But we're going to make sure you're not going to get 100% of the fat out of this. That's not the point, okay? The point is to get most of it out so that it's just shelf stable for longer and so that it's, you know, just not as risky. Like I said, if you have cold storage, feel free. Do your research. Figure out what's best for you. But for me, this is what I'm doing. Okay, I'm going to give it another go round. Just in case I splash some out. I don't think I did, but just in case. These are ball canning lids. No need to preheat. Rings. Not crazy tight. Comfy tight. I call it comfy snug. Okay? Make them snug. Nothing crazy. Alright, let's get them in the canner. Okay, I said this canner holds 5. It holds 6. Okay, so this one holds 6. This is number 6 going in. You're going to close your lid. You're going to lock it. Now remember, there's 8 cups of hot water and a little bit of vinegar in here for me. You do not have to do the vinegar. Okay? This up here is your exhaust. You have... Yeah, I was going to pull it off right for you. Anyway, you have the word exhaust and you have airtight. You want to make sure it's set to exhaust. And it will move. It's not a biggie, but it will move. Okay? It's time to plug it in. Okay, hopefully you can see this good. Bring you in a little closer. Alright, you see the 0. You have water, bath, steam, low, high. This is low pressure, high pressure. We're going to hit high pressure. We're coming to the time button. We went 90 minutes. Okay, and then we're going to hit start. That's it. Okay, once it comes up, and you'll see some venting and all that, and once it's ready, it will typically do a countdown from E10. It'll count down 10 minutes. It'll beep at you. You take it from exhaust to airtight. Now, it will still let off steam every once in a while. Not a big deal. And then it'll count down from your 90 minutes. Now, if it comes up to pressure quick, and I even checked the book. This book on this new one says it. The old one, I didn't see it. But if it comes up to temperature and the right vent and everything quicker, it might skip the E10. So if you don't see it, don't freak out. I did the first time. Don't freak out. But that's it. She should be good to go. So the other canner is currently counting down. I accidentally timed it for 90 minutes instead of 75, but I'm going to let it ride because I don't want to start the process all over again. And it's not fully cooked. I think it'll be okay. So for this one, this is my original one. We're going to lock her in. Alright, we're going to hit high. And we're going to put our time in for 75 minutes, not 90. I'm doing pints. Okay, we're going to hit, make sure that's on exhaust, and it is, and we're going to hit start. And now it's beginning its process. Next, I'm going to, well, I'll show you. I just wanted to show you this real quick. This is some jars that I had in storage. Look how cool. Right? Isn't that pretty neat? Anyway, check out the price of this dozen jars. I'm hoping I can hold this up without dumping all my jars out. Look really close right there. $3.50 a dozen. Oh, you see those days again. Could you imagine? Okay, so I ended up having to get out my big girl here, my All-American. I filled both of my electric canners, both my Nescos up, so there's 6 in each one, so I had 12 pints in those, and if you listen, they both just kicked off not long ago, and they're coming down from their pressure. When your Nesco kicks off, it will tell you, it'll beep, and it'll say the word off, and if there is an error, it should give you an E with a code. If you get an error code, the manual suggests that you just throw away all of your ingredients. For me, I think I would evaluate that and see if there's a way to reprocess it. That's for me. You do what's best for you. But I still have, oh my goodness, like 16 more pints here, I think. 14 or 16, I can't remember exactly. But at either rate, so I decided to go ahead and double stack my All-American canner. This is an All-American 921. And it's my main go-to before I got the second Nesco canner. This was my main go-to all the time. It's very heavy. That's the only thing. If you got to be able to lift with the girl, because she's a big girl. And they come smaller and they come bigger, but she's just a heavy girl. She's a powerhouse. She's my main go-to. And in the summertime, this is my main canner. My first Nesco, I just started using back, I don't remember, beginning of September, end of August, something like that. And I primarily did really small batch stuff because I didn't get to garden much. My other videos will tell you why. And leftovers, and it's great for that. And having two of them is really awesome because a typical load for this is 7 quarts, I believe. I'm not good with memory, but I think so. And, you know, if now that I have 2 of them, I can do 8 quarts or I can do 12 pints. So, I mean, you know, and that might not heat up your house quite as much. It does exhaust, though. At any rate, I ramble on. It's getting late in the day and I'm getting tired. I'm going to go ahead and load her up. I have 3 quarts of water in here. I do have vinegar in here. The water is not super hot. It's just warm because my meat's warm. It's not crazy hot. So my canner, I can feel the warmth, but it's nothing extreme, not super, super hot. Need some sort of a lubricant because this does not have a rubber gasket. Okay. And I did give this a good scrub after the last round, so I've got to go around it again. You can use a coconut oil. I'm at the wrong side. Actually, you could do both sides. I just use a petroleum jelly. That's just what I use. You use what's best for you. There's lots of different options. The main thing is to make sure that she doesn't stick because you're metal on metal. You're basically making your own gasket with your lubricant here. Okay? And you don't want it to stick, so. Alright, I don't know why I went on the inside there. I'll go on the inside here. I've been doing this for a while, y'all. This is the biggest canning day I have had. But I'm very pleased. If these all come out okay and nothing busts and everything seals, I'm very pleased. This will make a lot of biscuits and gravy. A quiche, we call it casserole because we're, you know, Midwestern, but some of y'all call it quiche. Make lots of those. Hash. Mix it with your hamburger. Oh my goodness, so many ways to use it, and it's like, this is fast food. This is homesteading fast food. You do the work ahead of time, and then when you're busy and you need something to eat, when my hard-working man and my hard-working boys come in and they need a breakfast or they need something to eat, Mama can whip it up for them a whole lot quicker. It's good, I'm telling you. Don't let your fear get you on the pressure canning. Okay, so I have an arrow here and I have a notch in my canner, and I just line them up. Miss Ruthie moved you guys. Do you mind, sis? And then we're going to take our, I always forget what these are called. Just tighten them down, okay? Make sure the lid is even. You'll have to check that as you go. Sometimes your lid might not be on perfectly straight and your canner will spit at you. Okay, I think we're okay. I've got my gauge. Always check to make sure this is clear, but it is. If you're not 100% sure and you forget to check before you put your lid on, you can take your lid back off and redo everything. That's fine. Or you can just take like a toothpick and run down in there, clean it out. I mean, it's usually those. These are fatter toothpicks than what I'm used to. Anyway, trust me, it works. Okay, I'm going to turn her on. I'm going to turn it to about a 6 and let it get good and warm. And then once it's warm, I'll turn it up higher. We want the steam to start coming out of this valve for 10 minutes. Vent it for 10 minutes. Put your weight on. Here where I'm at, it's 10 pounds of pressure. Check your elevation. And then we'll watch it come up to pressure. And we'll just get her done. Be back. I don't know if you can hear or not. Well, she's done. When they're kicked off, just leave them be. Don't mess with it for 1 hour. You can unplug it, but that's it. You should be able to see that. I know you can hear it, but you should be able to see that's a really good vent stream. It's been going on for 10 minutes, which is what we want. So now I have my weighted gauge, or weighted jiggler. And it has 5, 10, and 15. Look up your elevation, see what's best for you. For here, we do 10. Okay? We're going to put it on there. Now, we're going to watch this gauge, and once it comes up to 10 pounds pressure, I usually do like 11. I come a little hair over, so it might jiggle a little more, but I do it to be safe. I'm going to start turning my stove down to hit a comfortable place where it only jiggles every once in a while and it's not too high. So once it kind of gives a little jiggle, I'll let you see and let you know. Well, let's see what we got here. Open to the side the best you can so you don't get any steam burns or anything. Looks good. Take it out slowly. Look at that. Oh, already popping. Very nice. So cool. Yay. Happy mama. Okay, she's up to pressure. Not getting a whole lot of jiggling yet, but we will soon. And now that it is up to pressure, we are going to set the timer for 75 minutes. You may hear my All-American go off in the background every once in a while. All right, let's open up our second Nesco canner. It's been an hour. Looks good, looks good. See which one I get out first here. There we are. I see a little like grease or oil on the top of that one that I didn't see in the other one. Like I said, you will not get rid of all of the fat. You're just getting rid of as much as you can. And these are really loose. Or it felt like it. Maybe not. Once they're completely cooled off, I'm about to go turn my canner down. Can you hear it jiggling? That's too high. I just turned it down once. At any rate, once these are completely cleaned out or cooled off and the bands are gone and they've rested, I will wash these in soap and water to get any residual fat off of the jars. I'm gonna turn my... As soon as I get done pulling these out, I'll go turn my canner down a little bit more. Anyway, I think it looks great. There's those 6. And these were the 75 minutes. The first ones were 95. Or 90, not 95. Good gravy. 10 seconds. 10 seconds. It's been a long day, y'all. I started this like around noon, and it is 6:30. There it is. Okay. All you gotta do, shut her off. Don't touch it. Don't mess with it. Leave it be for 30, 40, go eat a snack, take a nap, take a shower, do whatever, but don't mess with it, okay? And we'll come back when it's cooled down and crack her open and see what we got. Y'all, I am tired. It's been a long day. And this is my last step. Take these babies out. We'll let the lid sit for a minute, cockeyed, and let it acclimate to the change. Temperature, pressure, all that. I'm going to take my doohickey off. Alright. Well, it looks good so far. It's kind of hard to let it sit. I usually let it sit cockeyed, but there's jars in my way. So we're just going to do this. They've been in there for an hour. Looks good, looks good. I did hear a pop. I always hear a pop. I always freak out and think something broke. But it was a pretty good pop, so there might be something done below. We'll find out. Let's find... Oh, here they are. I like to leave them sit for a few minutes, but I'm rushing it. This is what gets you in trouble, though, because then when you rush it, you make mistakes. So I'll give it 5 minutes. I'm so ready for bed, y'all. All right, 5 minutes. All right. Looks just like the other ones. I would say that's a win. Oh my. I'm happy, happy, happy. Very pleased. I'm not sure what sausage is going for in the stores. I mean, I know we looked at the price of the homemade stuff earlier, but we certainly didn't want to let this go to waste. See if I can get this out of the issue. Maybe. Not bad for an afternoon's worth of work. It smells awful good, so Miss Ruthie over here is stalking me because she would like a treat or a bite or what have you. So we're going to put the lid back on. Let her cool down completely. I'll wash it in the morning. I'm pooped, so we'll wash it in the morning. Hey, Jesse boy. Getting griped at too. It's real life, y'all. The microwave's griping. He's getting so tall. Miss Ruthie. I don't know if they can see her or not, but she's right here, right? You can see her. If they can see her nose. Anyway, whew, that was a pretty good day and a pretty good amount of sausage and one step into getting the freezers cleaned out. Tomorrow we'll start something again, probably lard. And you don't have to can that, but we'll learn some stuff, right? Thank you for joining me today. Do what you can right where you are.
Psalms 34, verse 8. Oh, taste and see that the Lord is good. Blessed is the man that trusteth in him.